This footage is scary, but there's one thing that's even scarier. And that's how easily it can happen to you or your loved ones. This is surveillance footage from a home in Brazil. The man in the blue shirt is the owner of the house, and he's just walking back from the corner store. He has his backpack over his shoulder, and he's humming a little tune as he walks. But when he opens the door to his house, two men are waiting for him inside. One of them is holding a gun, and they both have their faces covered with masks. As soon as the door opens, one of them grabs the man by his shirt and pulls him inside. Then the second guy comes up behind him and also grabs him by the shirt. Now they're dragging him inside, and you can see that the homeowner is trying to fight back. He's got his hands out like he's trying to stop them from pulling him inside, but they just drag him off camera. If this was a movie, that would be the end of it. We'd never see the guy again. But this was real life, and we do have more footage of what happened next. They tied the man up with black electrical cord and duct taped his mouth shut. They also took his shoes off before tossing him onto the bed. Now, they're going to start taking turns interrogating him. The first guy leans down close to the camera so we can hear what he's saying. He asks the man where the safe is, but the guy has no idea what he's talking about, just keeps saying he doesn't know anything. So the other guy slaps him across the face, and then he spits in his mouth. The guy who was just standing by the door leans down and takes a few pictures of him on his cell phone. I think these were supposed to be threats to send to the family or something like that. But they didn't want any identifying features shown, so they blurred his face here. The two of them continued to argue back and forth with the homeowner, but he still claims he doesn't know where the safe is. I don't know why they thought this guy had a safe. Maybe there was some money or jewelry in the house. But I guess they didn't find anything, because they eventually let him go. They untied him and threw his shoes back at him. Then they ransacked the place and stole whatever they could find. They demanded the guy's cell phone, but he tried to trick them and gave them the wrong password. So they punched him in the stomach, and then he finally gave them the phone. They brought the guy outside and shoved him into a plastic chair. Then one of them sat in the car while the other stayed behind. This footage is pretty graphic, so I'll try to describe what's happening without going too far into detail. They forced the guy to take off his shirt and bend over while they searched him. It looked like they were looking for drugs or maybe weapons. After that, they grabbed a few things from inside and left. This is where things get weird, though. Instead of running away, the guy stays there for a little while. He kind of stands around and watches the car drive away. But the most bizarre thing is that after it drives away, he starts walking towards it. As the police showed up, he started following the car, basically leading them right to the police. I'm not sure if the police ever caught these guys. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that's the weirdest part. To me, it seems like the homeowner knew these guys, or at least knew them well enough to willingly go with them. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Here's some surveillance footage. It's from a gas station in Texas. This car pulls up and a guy gets out with a big smile on his face. He's walking towards the back of the store, to the self-checkout. But the employee inside noticed that the guy had a gun tucked into his waistband. She started filming him on her cell phone. She wanted to share it with everyone else inside the store so they could keep an eye on him. The manager ended up seeing the video and asked her to delete it. But when she turned to leave, the gunman was standing right behind her. It totally creeped her out. In surveillance footage like this, it's really hard to tell what people are thinking. If this guy walked into the store and openly showed everyone that he had a gun, I think a lot of people would panic and maybe someone would try to tackle him or something. But the fact that he was able to walk into the store and remain undetected means he probably was planning on causing trouble. I don't know why he had a gun or what he was planning on doing with it, but this employee did the right thing by staying calm and not making a scene. If she had screamed or tried to run away, there's a chance she could have been shot. The manager came over and took the shift from her, but later that day, the gunman returned to the store. He walked right up to the counter and asked for his gun back. The manager said no and called the cops. The gunman just shrugged his shoulders and walked away. I don't know if the police ever found him or if he ever came back. But this story goes way beyond the scope of this video. There's been a huge debate over whether the employee should have recorded him or not. Some people say she did the right thing by trying to alert the others. But the manager says she put everyone at risk. I guess the question is, would you have done the same thing? Here's some surveillance footage from another gas station, this time in Florida. This lady is driving a white SUV. She pulls up to the gas pump and parks, and she gets out of the car and goes inside to pay for her gas. But as she walks through the door, You can see there's a guy inside pointing a gun at her. He has his face covered with a mask, and he's wearing gloves. The woman immediately sees the gun and raises her hands in submission. She kind of walks forward slowly like she's hoping that he won't shoot her, but the guy just points the gun at her head and then runs away. What's the craziest part is that she just stood there. She could have ran out the front door or hid behind the counter or something, but she just stayed right there with a gun pointed at her head. And this reminds me of a story that happened a few years ago in Queens. A robber entered a bodega and pointed a gun at the clerk. But instead of demanding money or valuables, he just stared at the clerk for a few seconds and then backed out of the store. He literally didn't say a word, and this is very similar. I don't know what this guy's plan was, but I can promise you it wouldn't have gone very well for her. Thanks for watching. If you're looking for something else to watch, make sure you check out the links in the description.